So you've got a lot of things that you need to label and mark and see what they are at a glance. Sure, you could use a Sharpie, but on Calypso, we found that a label maker is actually worth the space that it takes up. Hi, I'm Nika Waters, and welcome to the Boat Galley podcast. I'm talking about our label maker, what we looked for, and what we use it for. If you want even more of the Boat Galley, sign up for our free newsletter and get more tips for life aboard every single week right in your email. There's a link to sign up in the show notes. Well, today's tip is all about label makers. And sure, it's a small gadget, an appliance, whatever you want to call it, that you don't need. You don't have to have it. You can certainly use a Sharpie. You can grab your Post-it notes and stick them on there and lose them, or you can just buckle down and buy a label maker. I was in the first camp. I did not understand why Jeremy wanted a label maker. It's a single-use thing, another gadget, another thing to buy, another thing to store. Why in the world would we use it? And then we got it on board, and we started to use it. We printed out labels for things like wiring, labeling the wires that go and the cables that go from the batteries to the electrical box. Very easy to stick a label on there, cover it with clear shrink wrap, heat it up, and you've got a beautiful, easy to read, not going anywhere label that you can see simply because it's black print on a white background. I've used it to make new labels for my spice containers. We use it to label the outside of our toolboxes so we can see at a glance what is in there without having to open every single thing up. We've labeled the plumbing pipes with various valves going from one tank or the other. I could totally go on and on and on. We pull out our label maker. We set it to all caps. The tape that we have is a white background with black font, and we just print it away. It's nice, it's neat, it's clean, it's simple, and it's very, very, very readable. That's the thing with a Sharpie, is that sometimes my handwriting's not great, sometimes Jeremy's handwriting isn't great, and that Sharpie, let's face it, can just rub right off. How did we pick our label maker? What did we look for? Well, there are a few things that were important for us. One is the tape size. We like 1/2-inch tape. It's much easier to read than the 1/4-inch size. It's easier to apply because the backs aren't so finicky to get off. We wanted a regular keyboard as opposed to having to hit shift or double tap to get an alternative character. For us, a label maker is only as good as how easy it is to use. And if we needed to fight with the keyboard to get anything to print, it would not have been fun. We wanted something that was battery operated, but also had a corded option, so we could use it close to what we're labeling. Possibly if there was something these days that had a USB rechargeable, that would be kind of the ultimate. Some of the things that people rave about that weren't important to us included multiple fonts. But I know people who use their label maker and their fonts change with what it is that they're labeling, meaning that they can tell at a glance what something is. Maybe they're wiring and they'll have something that is, this is going to lights or this is going to navigation stuff, and they might change the font depending on what those wires are going to. We wanted something, and this might be at odds with having a regular keyboard, but we wanted something with a relatively small footprint because of our storage space. A couple of side notes to think about when you are thinking about getting a label maker. One of the things is to make sure that you have a couple of spare tape cartridges with you. They go surprisingly quickly. Particularly, we've found that we kind of go into spurts. When we're labeling things, we pull the label maker out and we label lots and lots of things all at once. Maybe it's because we're doing an engine project and we want to label all the cables, or we're doing a plumbing project and we want to label all those pipes. It's usually not pulled out just for one label at a time. That's when, yes, that Sharpie does get pulled out, but mostly we're pulling it out to do a lot of stuff all at once. And the tape tends to run out pretty quickly. So making sure that you have enough spare cartridges of that for your bulk labeling is important. You often have to buy them that are specific to the brand label maker that you have. Buy them when they're on sale. Sometimes you can find off-brand ones that work in your label maker, but making sure you have those on hand means that you can actually use that tool as opposed to it just taking up space. Make sure you have spare tape cartridges with you. The other aside that I just wanted to share is our favorite Amazon price hack. And you'd think that maybe this has nothing to do with a label maker. But when I went researching to see what label maker we bought, I realized that the label maker that we bought now costs a whopping $70. I can't imagine there is a world in which we would pay $70 for a label maker. That buys a lot of Sharpies, remember? But then I realized, as I looked into the invoice, I realized that we didn't pay anything close to that. Instead, we bought a save with used like new label maker that cost us $10. $10. And this is our favorite Amazon price hack. It's to look at returns, Amazon returns, when we're shopping for something specific. This isn't the see what's available used or new from other sellers. Instead, this is on the right-hand side. Look under the add to cart and any protection plan offers that you might see. And underneath that, if there's an option for an Amazon returned item, you might see a saved with used like new. Sometimes there are multiple options with a range of conditions and a corresponding range of prices. Recently, we just bought a bed frame for one of our kids that was new $100, but as new with slightly damaged packaging, meaning that somebody had returned it and there was a rip in the box. Seriously, it was $49. Not every single item has a returned item available, but if it does, it's definitely worth checking that because you can save often a fair amount of money on that. Is a label maker necessary? No. It's not even something that we use daily on board. It's arguable that it might fall into the luxury category. But there are times that we've needed to pull it out, and we always smile and are very happy that we have it. As an added bonus, we have actually, believe it or not, helped fellow cruisers who don't have one, and they really wanted a label maker, and we were able to help them out. But I can't wait to share an anchorage with you, and hopefully we're not labeling every single thing that we own, but we can just toast to our good fortune at being able to share this incredible, incredible lifestyle. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. We love hearing from our listeners. We love it if you share us with your friends. We love it if this has helped you, if you leave us a 5-star review, because that does help other people to find us. The Boat Galley is all about making boat life better, and we certainly hope that this one has helped you today. Have a great week.